It's Monday night and I put zero thought into what I'm going to say during this video, and it's dreary outside so the lighting is terrible, but Rosebud Reads are in about an hour and I'm starting to panic. So, welcome to this week's episode of Distracting Yourself with Laura Gillespie. Seriously though, this lighting is not good for my skin. Maybe it's just the screen, but with this and the green and the... I'm sorry, who cares? Rosebud Reads is not the official name, it's just what I call it. I think it's what other people call it, I don't know anymore. I get confused about the things that I say as truths and the things that are actually truths. Basically every summer, once the artistic director is starting to get an idea of the season that he wants to put on for next year, he'll hold auditions. This year is different. He's only holding auditions for 2 shows instead of 4 shows, which is good. Usually when he holds auditions for 4 shows, he ends up not doing all of those same shows. He has to change it because of budgets or getting the rights or whatever. So this time it's 2 shows that he's pretty certain we're gonna do, and so we're reading for those. And in the past couple of years, I haven't really gotten my hopes up. I really like being on the Rosebud stage, but up until this last show, I've pretty much always just been ensemble with really small roles, and it's a lot of fun, and I like being part of the ensemble and telling the story and getting to watch all the different things and doing whatever. But it's not the part you hope for, right? And then this time around, I got the Wicked Witch, and suddenly my brain is like, Laura, you might get the roles that you want, and it's so we'll see how these auditions go. Also, the worst part about this is that we'll do the audition and then you just have to forget about it because you won't hear back for months. It's fine. No, I'm not going to tell you the shows that we're reading for. There will be an official season announcement in the fall. My video a week ago, not the last video, but the one before that, where I did some requests that people had asked for, I've been getting some feedback on that, and that's pretty fun. So far, 2 of the movies have been guessed correctly. The quotes were from 10 Things I Hate About You and Firefly. However, no one's guessed the last movie. And to be honest, I don't really expect anyone to, because if I'd said the whole conversation, then somebody would have gotten it. But it would have been like instantaneous because the first part of the question and it doesn't matter. There's still a 3rd movie, go guess if you want to. The show's been going good. It's actually getting to the point where I have a lot of trouble telling the difference between the shows. I mean, I've had other jobs where you have a regular schedule and so you go in and you sort of see the same people and it's a bit similar and sometimes your days get a bit blurred. But with the theater, you're with the exact same group of people, you're wearing the exact same clothes, you're saying the exact same things, you're doing the exact same things in the exact same every time. It's just like this, and it blurs together so badly. I will be in the middle of a show and I'll forget if it's a matinee or an evening show. I won't know if it's my first show of the day or if it's my second show of the day. I don't know if I have a show the next day or if I've just come off a weekend. Like, nothing. I don't have a clue. It's hard for me to remember the stories that I have to tell you because I can't keep them straight. They just like turn into mush. If you end up coming to the show, there's generally a talk back every Friday night, though no one's been staying. So far I get to come home on Friday nights, which is nice. But if you come to the show and then stay afterwards, I'll stay and talk with you. Though you generally have to ask me a direct question, because if you just ask general questions, I let everybody else answer them. Too many years as ensemble. One of the things that has me the most stressed about this audition is that an Irish... I actually have a fairly decent British accent, and I think the Irish one is okay, but the problem is that I'll be stressed, and depending on what the person across the table is doing for me, I might drift towards them, or I might just drift towards British, or oddly enough, I tend to drift into a drawl from anywhere. Maybe because it was the first accent I ever attempted, and it was grade 3 Christmas pageant, and I thought I was marvelous at it, so I've always been convinced that I'm marvelous at that accent, but the more I learn about accents, the more I think that I'm probably not as marvelous at it as I think I am. Either way, no matter what accent I'm doing, eventually I will drift to a drawl, whatever. And trying to learn the accent was tricky because I looked up a couple videos on YouTube and they were helpful. I thought they were helpful, but then you start reading the comments and it's all these people being like, I'm Irish, or my dad's Irish, and this guy is so over enunciating and he's just exaggerating and you're all gonna sound like leprechauns, and no wonder stage accents are always so terrible. This is where people come to learn stuff, and it's like, well. So then I start watching shows because you figure that if it's on the BBC, then surely they got the accent right because they're probably actually from Ireland, or they would be slaughtered if they didn't have a good accent. I don't know. But that's tricky because I already have a tendency to like drift into the British accent that I'm more comfortable with. So when I'm watching an episode of Call the Midwife, because I know that the young pregnant girl is Irish in that episode, so I just mimic everything that she says. But everybody else in the episode is speaking with a British accent to try and like only hold on to the Irish one. It's been an interesting weekend, let me tell ya. But then it will be over and I can repress it. Oh God, the sun. Good thing it's the end because that sun is now there apparently, and I don't think a cloud's coming back. Thank you for keeping me company in my panic. I hope it was entertaining to you. I don't know that this has helped me at all, but I'm gonna go over the side several more times and continue to panic. And see you next time. Bye. That's all. I'm sure I've talked enough.